you have a crazy connection to how, I don't want to say how all this started, but really here in America, how all this kind of ignited. It was the Jazz Thunder game last Wednesday, a week ago tonight in Oklahoma City. We find out seconds before the game that Rudy Gobert, the center for the Jazz, tested positive. Everything gets called up. And really, that's kind of where the dominoes start to fall here in America. You were at the game, Chris? Is that true?
I was at the inception of this whole coronavirus thing, at least in the United States. Yeah, I was out in Oklahoma City doing some press and media to kind of get my fight going for my fight May 2nd with Hermansson. And one of the last things we had to do was go to the Oklahoma City Thunder game. So we were hanging out in the crowd and relaxing. We were watching them warm up. And then out of nowhere, they just got pulled off the court. The players left the court. You know, the whole place was packed out. And about 5 minutes later, they made an announcement saying that the event's going to be postponed until the NBA gives any further notice. And so we're kind of just sitting there, and they just kept doing the halftime show over and over again. You know, the cheerleaders came out, they did their dances. The, little girls came out, did their dances, and we were just waiting. And about like 35, 40 minutes later, they went back and made another announcement saying, hey, the game is no longer happening and it's postponed to a later date. And we apologize and please exit safely. And so there were some people who started panicking. They didn't know if it was because of the coronavirus or not. No one really knew. And then everyone was on social media, and I guess it started kind of coming through as people were walking out. You could kind of see the panic on some people's faces. And it was definitely crazy. There's more people upset that the game wasn't happening, and people were there for special occasions, and they spent the whole night getting ready for it, and it didn't happen. So and then I had to fly home the next morning, and even flying there to begin with, that was like 2 days prior to that. I was, definitely very cautious. I had my hand sanitizer with me. I was sanitizing up like crazy, sanitizing my seat on the airplane. But it was, it's crazy. And then since then, I've been pretty much quarantined. Since I got home, I've been in isolation at my house. My wife pretty much, as soon as I got home, my wife, my clothes came off. She basically burned everything. And hang on 1 second. My light just went out.
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know what just happened.
Are you in the famous Weidman basement there, your home gym?
Yes, I am.
I've seen it before.
This is where I'm working out now. This is it.
So
working out, but I'm ready, getting ready to go for this fight, but it's not the ideal situation.
Sure, and I'll get to that in a second, but I'm just curious. So when you came home, you actually had to be away from your wife and kids for, 48 hours? Your wife wanted nothing to do with you?
Yeah, I went and I'm blessed enough that we have a guest room, and I have my basement. She just, my kids and my wife, went nowhere near my basement or my guest room, and I just stayed in there and hung out for 48 hours, and it's the best time of my life, to be honest.
Are you okay now? You're good. You feel okay?
I'm good. I mean, we're still in isolation, but now I'm with my family and have any symptoms. So it was good enough for my wife to let me back in the house. And now I'm just, hanging out with the family all day long and trying to train still in the house. And that's it. Trying to do the right thing.
I saw that Law MMA is closed, right? Indefinitely?
Yeah, our gym is closed. We closed it for a week. And then we're probably going to have to close it for 2 weeks. We didn't make that announcement yet, but that's kind of looking like what most of the gyms are doing. So we got to make another announcement on that. We're going to do some videos. I started doing some videos today. We're going to start posting some stuff. It's this is a crazy time we're living in, huh?
Yeah. And as far as like training, like you could go on the treadmill or you can lift weights, push-ups, but like actual MMA fight training, how do you do that? You have a fight coming up in a little over a month and a half.
Doing some strength training, strength coaches sending me some different workouts, just kind of do on my own. I am hitting the bag, I'm going to start doing some stuff with this guy. Say hi, CJ.
Where's CJ at?
Right
my
here.
man CJ, look at this guy, superstar. Future champ right there.
He's going to be my wrestling partner, which, honestly, he's better than most of the guys I train with anyway. So
hold the mitts for you?
He's going to hold mitts for me, too. I'm going to put up some videos. I'm going to become a YouTube star. Well, we're going to become YouTube stars doing videos together during this time. So my daughter started filming all the food I was eating today and the vitamins I'm taking. I'm trying to give all my tricks out while everyone's staying at home, doing the right thing, staying isolated from everybody. So Yeah, there should be some videos coming out soon.
So your fight is scheduled for May 2nd. What do you think right now in your heart of hearts? Like, I know you're trying to remain positive, but I mean, sports postponed indefinitely. Do you think this fight happens? Are you feeling like it's going to happen? What are you thinking?
I gotta imagine it's happening in my head, for training purposes, but it's a tough one to believe at this point. Hermansson, he's in Europe, so the chance of him getting out here in the next, what is it, like 6 weeks out at this point, is probably slim. I don't know how much this is going to change. Nobody knows. I spoke to the UFC. I talked to Maynard. He has no idea what's going on. I don't know if the 3 fights that were canceled, the 3 fight cards that were canceled, I don't know if those guys are going to get pushed on to my card and take over that card, and then I get pushed to a later date. I don't know what the UFC plans on doing. I don't think they know what they're going to do yet. So yeah, it's just everything's kind of up in the air right now, and I just got to stay training, stay healthy, stay positive, and that's it.
Could I ask you this, because your situation reminds me a lot of mine. You are a father of 3 young children. Our kids are around the same age. I find this virtual learning thing that they're doing, like, this is a lot of pressure. I'm not a teacher. I have a lot of respect for teachers. In fact, my respect for teachers has now grown exponentially. This is a tough job to keep them, but I have my own work to do, and they're giving us all this homework. How are you keeping things sane at home and your children from not like beating each other up and not sitting in front of the TV? Any tips for parents, Chris Weidman? Can you enlighten us?
Honestly, I'm blessed to have an amazing wife who is super smart and such a good mom, and we're kind of like the yin and the yang. I'm more laid back with things, and she's super anal about things. So she's been making like a schedule, and the kids get up, they got to do certain things throughout the day, and she pulls me up as well. So it's I just think keeping a schedule, not staying up all night long and playing video games or watching movies and TV, getting to bed on time, waking up early, and doing stuff to focus on school, time for reading. Like, they just got done reading for a half an hour. I was taking my kid, I taught my 4-year-old how to clean up dog poop in the backyard. I just kind of doing things with I guess as much as I can. But again, like you're saying, like, I got to work too. I got to do things. And so my wife ends up watching the kids all day long. And it gets stressful. So as much time, if I'm working for a certain amount of time, I try to make it upstairs and do things with the kids as well. So it's basically like I'm hanging out at home with my kids all day long, and every once in a while I'm like, all right, I need some time by myself. Leave me alone. I'm going downstairs working out, or I'm doing some stock trading or whatever it is. I'm just keeping busy.
One last thing for you, Chris, because I haven't talked to you since they announced this fight against Jack Hermansson. Ultimately, why did you decide to go back down to 185?
Well, I lost in the first round at 205 in my debut, and kind of just going with where I probably have the most advantages. I do think I could be right up there with all the 205 pounders, and I do think I had the potential to beat any of them. But I lost my first fight, and I just figured, you know what, let me just go where I'm comfortable to try to, make sure I get this W and give myself the most advantages as possible. And size and strength is important, and I wouldn't have as much of an advantage up at 205 with that. So I'm not closing the door on 205 completely, but at this point I'm going to go down to middleweight, and my weight's good, so it shouldn't be that bad.
All right, be safe, my man. Thank you for doing this. I can't believe you were at that game. That was crazy when I saw that on your Instagram. I'm sure that's an experience that you will never forget, but I'm glad that you are okay, and hope the best for your family, and that obviously this fight actually happens on May 2nd or shortly thereafter, so we'll keep positive thoughts. Thank you so much.
Hey, let me just make an announcement to all you guys out there. Take this thing serious. Do the right thing. They're saying that not that I'm a doctor or anything, so you could just roll your eyes at everything I say right now. But they're saying the biggest carriers are 19 to 30-year-olds because everyone wants to just keep going outside and doing their thing. But you guys are causing more of an issue. So stay inside, quarantine, listen to what the government's telling you, and stay safe.
Amen. Thank you, Chris.
All right.
My best to the Weidmans. Yes, there he is, Chris Weidman, the former UFC middleweight champion, and CJ, the future UFC middleweight champion. Let's go, CJ. Let's go.
We're gonna stick to wrestling.
All right, fine. Wrestling. No getting punched in the head. Respect.
Exactly.
Good people over there on Long Island. That's my guy, Chris Weidman. going back down to 185 pounds. All you have to do is press the X there, Chris. You see the little X on the top
I'm
right?
going to stay out here forever and just keep looking at it. All right, later.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.